Hello, I'm Alexander Alexandrov, and I will present to you my knowledge about all four body systems and how do they all work. Here we have the circulatory system. The purpose of this system is to carry oxygen, nutrients, and hormones to cells and removes waste products like carbon dioxide. Here we have the heart, one of, if not the most important organ in the entire body, located slightly to the left of the body. Its main purpose is to pump out blood low in oxygen and pump in oxygen-rich blood to then transfer into other organs, especially the brain. Speaking of transferring blood, here's a step-by-step process on how the heart beats. First, the heart pumps out blood low in oxygen to the lung capillaries through the pulmonary artery, colored blue, to gain oxygen. Second, the blood gets oxygen-rich from the lungs and goes back to the heart through the pulmonary vein, colored red. Third, the oxygen-rich blood gets pumped in and then transferred to the capillaries of other organs to then get used up on oxygen through traveling the aorta, colored red. And finally, the blood becomes low in oxygen because of the organs using up the blood's oxygen and needs to go back to the heart through the veins, colored blue, to repeat the process. Here we have the respiratory system. The purpose of the system is to bring oxygen into our bodies, called inhalation, and send carbon dioxide out, called exhalation. This process is called respiration, or to put it simply, breathing. This process includes the trachea, which splits into two branches called the bronchi, both branches connecting to the lungs, and these branches split up into smaller parts called bronchioles. The lungs, which are connected to the bronchi and bronchioles, and the diaphragm, which is located below the lungs. The process of breathing is split into two parts. The first, inhaling. This part occurs when the chest expands, the diaphragm contracts, moves down, and oxygen from the air comes in through the nose or mouth, down through the trachea, and enters the lungs through the bronchi and bronchioles. And second, exhaling. This part occurs when the chest contracts, gets smaller, the diaphragm relaxes, moves up, and carbon dioxide gets released, passing through the bronchioles, bronchi, and up through the trachea, then exiting through either the nose or the mouth. Here we have the nervous system. The purpose of the system is to help send information to our brain about your environment, like what you're touching, for example. This system is made up of the brain, which has three parts, which are the cerebrum, cerebellum, and the brainstem, and a bunch of nerves scattered across the whole body. The cerebrum controls movement, touch, vision, hearing, judgment, reasoning, problem-solving, emotions, and learning. And it is the largest part of the brain, being above both the brainstem and the cerebellum. The cerebellum controls balance, coordination, and posture of the body, it being located below the cerebrum but behind the brainstem. The brainstem controls automatic functions like heartbeat, breathing, temperature, sleep cycles, digestion, sneezing, coughing, vomiting, and swallowing, being located below the cerebrum but ahead of the cerebellum. How the nervous system works goes like this. For example, when you touch a hot stove, the nerves send information through one of the neural pathways to the brain, where it decides what to do. In this scenario, the brain controls the movement of the hand to be away from the hot stove. There are many other scenarios like this, but basically, when an area of the nervous system notices something, it would send that information to the brain for that info to be dealt with in some sort of way. And finally, here we have the digestive system. The purpose of this system is to break down the food you eat into nutrients such as carbohydrates, fats, and proteins. They can then be absorbed into your bloodstream so your body can use them for energy, growth, and repair. Here's how the process of digestion works. First, when the food enters the mouth, it chews the food while the salivary glands produce saliva to help break down the food. Then the food goes through the esophagus, where it travels down to the stomach. Then, once the food enters the stomach, it mixes, churns, and breaks up food and produces pepsin to digest protein. The liver produces bile to emulsify, disperse food or substance, fat. The gallbladder stores the bile produced by the liver, and the pancreas produces lipase to digest fat, amylase to digest starch, trypsin, and chymotrypsin to digest protein from the food. Then, once all that's done, the broken down food enters the small intestine, which takes in all of the nutrients after it digests the carbs and protein. Then the food becomes waste when the large intestine absorbs the water and it produces ions. And it stores the waste before it's time to go to the toilet when it releases it through the part you see at the bottom of the diagram. You know which one it is. It's the one. You've heard of it. You know you've heard of it. That's all for now, guys. See you later. Bye.